Hey, Marijn. Hey, John.
Hello.
Hey
Hi.
man. Wow, where are you?
I'm in dark and cold hell.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're in warm, humid heaven.
Yeah. Ignite, huh?
Also
We're at
called
Ignite.
Ignite.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So, how are you guys? I heard you had a bit of a rough night yesterday, huh?
Yeah, we're recovering. I think if we weren't set up for this podcast right now, we might not be awake.
Oh,
Since we're awake, we're doing okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Love you, man.
So, what happened last night?
You want to tell the story about last night?
Oh no, man. So we had a party bus, but whatever happens on the bus stays on the bus.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And the bus took us between a few parties. We went to the Teams event. We went to the Red Party, which is legendary. Red Party's crazy every year. And so then I guess there was a crew of us that even went on to a fourth location, but not me. I went to bed because I'm the responsible one.
Yes. Yeah. Very good. I've known you always as the responsible John.
It's me, always responsible.
Yeah, I second that. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Okay.
what's on the plan for today?
So today, for me, I'm just gonna do a few more sessions. I'm gonna see more sessions. I'll be at the Teams booth as well, doing a few hours of booth duty, so where people can come over and ask questions. I'm not
Good.
sure how that's gonna go with my voice, but we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see about that.
Yeah. That's if we're both a little bit hoarse here, it's because of all the screaming at the parties.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me today, actually, I think right after this, I got an invite to go to the Kennedy Space Center and the beach. So I'm gonna skip the event today, and
Awesome.
I'm gonna go hang out at the beach.
Nice.
Good.
Have you guys been to Galaxy's Edge already?
Not yet. Friday, I'm gonna go after my
I'm
session.
so
I'm
jealous.
going there.
I'm so jealous.
I know. I heard the lines are crazy, like 3 hours, but I don't care. I have to do it.
Oh man, 3 hours. Jeez.
3 hours. Yeah.
All right.
Somebody said that they had to wait for 3 hours, but it was worth it.
Yep.
So
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well then, have fun. Have fun.
Thanks.
So let's talk a little bit about evangelism. So,
All right.
since we have a pro evangelist with us today, John. So, nice topic. So, yeah, let's talk first a little bit about evangelism and kind of the impact on user adoption. Evangelism is actually an old Greek word, and it means something like bringing a positive message, or a good message.
yeah.
And actually,
we won the war. something
Yeah.
like that.
and in evangelism, there's also the word angelos, which kind of means message or messenger. So yeah, I mean, evangelism, I guess, has a lot to do with telling a story.
Yeah. It's I think the original definition I heard was bringer of good news.
Yeah.
And so the evangelist is traditionally, like, when you think about it, it's entrenched in a religious sense most places when you read about evangelism, and the evangelist is the person that traveled around and spread the religion. And so, in the same sense almost today, I feel like the evangelist's job is not to spread the religion, but to spread that good news, to create something almost like a religion. I think when I think of what I'm doing, I'm trying to build the cult of flow, right? It's not a religion, but it's almost a religion, right? I'm building news around it. I'm building hype around it. I'm trying to tell stories and make it important so people can understand like how this can change their life. And then when you get people to do that, right, when it does change their life, and then, if Marijn has a great experience with flow, because I said, Marijn, you should use flow, suddenly once it does change his life in some way, he's going to be an evangelist about it too. Because when I came to him and told him about it, and it could solve his problems, he probably got excited. And when it actually worked, then you want to go and tell someone else, like, yo, that could fix your problem too.
So it's like,
that's,
so it's like igniting a spark in people to kind of
yes.
to kind of build a wildfire around a certain topic.
Yeah.
And I mean, always
But you have to be careful by using the word though, because 2 years ago I had actually a customer when I went to them for an interview, and they actually said like, okay, we also saw that you have like evangelism on your resume. So is that like a Mormon thing or so? Like, no. I said that's technology evangelism.
Yes, yes.
But I mean, always in user adoption, we have to deal with change, and people are really like reluctant when it comes to change because new stuff is coming. We are scared. So I guess bringing good news is the key here, and I guess that's why evangelism is so important when it comes to user adoption.
But it also has to be true news.
It does.
So
it does.
It's not a good news show like this is gonna be so awesome and everything's gonna change. It also has to have truth in there.
Yeah, if an evangelist is spreading false information, it will become clear very quickly, and that person won't be an evangelist for long.
Yeah.
But I think the key part, you said something a little bit earlier in user adoption. I think that the evangelism is important, especially to user adoption, because I think the evangelist does a important job, and that is to inform and inspire people, which I think is your first step in user adoption. Because if I am not informed or inspired, it's very unlikely that I'm going to actually move or change. And so when the evangelist, their role is to create that excitement, to create that reason to move. And so that's usually done through two things. I usually say it's informing someone or it's inspiring someone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we humans, we are slaves to our emotions, right? And kind of, you need to have a story which triggers some emotion. It can be a negative or a positive one, but it needs some emotion that you actually can move someone.
And that's an important trait of the evangelist.
Yeah,
is to actually make that story compelling so that people will listen to it and will try it out and will be moved by it.
Yeah, exactly. So therefore, I believe that evangelism is kind of one of the most important things when it comes to user adoption, and every organization should think, how should I evangelize my user adoption project or my whatever I want to bring across inside. So who can do it, and how do I tell the story? So, and what is the most important thing what I want to bring across? So it's always like, tell a story, make a point in a way. That
yes, the story should absolutely always have a point. I think you mentioned fear. People get afraid because they're unsure of change, and I think people fear things they don't know, right? I don't know what I don't know, and that scares me because I know this and I can continue to do this. But I think the point I want to make with that is, if you can understand what motivates people, right, you can usually push them past that fear. And so 2 quick motivations for every human being on the planet, which if you understand this, you can use this. 1, first motivation for every person, I want to look good.
Yeah.
Right? We all want to look good. And so if you can help someone look good, they will likely change, right? And so when you're presenting stuff to people, you have to present it in a way that gives them the opportunity to look good. Or motivation number 2, I don't want to look bad. Okay? These are the 2 base human motivations. Everything we do can be boiled down to this. I will act certain ways in public because why? I want to look good, or I want to avoid looking bad. Right? Yeah. I will rewrite an email 10 times. Why? Because I want to look good and I want to avoid looking bad. So understanding these 2 base motivations in all human beings allows you to actually understand how you can help push them past that fear. Because if I can do one of those things, either help them look good or help them avoid looking bad, they're going to push past the fear because it becomes worth it. It gives them something.
Yeah, makes total sense, John. So now when we can discuss about the importance on evangelism, I would like to, for the next question, I would like to quote one quote from Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. So he says, stories are the most powerful thing in the world, right? I think he said that in one of the last episodes of the whole series. But how do I become a great storyteller? So I mean, how does it work? I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people out there who would like to learn that or would like to know how to become this compelling storyteller, and and not some kind of
Yeah,
dry.
it's definitely a journey. I've always been a good talker, and being a good talker is a skill you need as an evangelist, but I was not always a good storyteller. And I had to practice, and I actually watched a lot of great storytellers, others, and picked up things from their style. And what I learned was, to tell a great story, I had to write the punchline first. I have to write the end of the story first. And then once I know what it is I want to deliver to you, then I can find stories in my head, things I've experienced, which I can tie to that. So like in my keynote talk I do, I have a story about my son and doing show and tell, and he has this tool belt where he pulls out this hammer, and he decides in front of his class, he tells everyone about this tree house he's going to build because now he has this hammer. And the point I'm trying to get across to the audience there is not anything about my son or a hammer or a treehouse. It's that new tools bring new possibilities. And so that's what I'm trying to get across to you, was for him, that hammer was a new tool that allowed him the possibility in his head of creating a treehouse, something he had never thought of or mentioned before. And so I work it backwards, and it's not easy. Like, it definitely takes some time, and your stories are not going to be compelling at first. But here's one tip too. The stories don't always have to be entirely 100% true. As long as the outcome and most of it is true, and people won't see through it. So what I mean by that is, you can embellish a little bit. You can add to the story if you need a new scene, right? Think of it like a movie. Think of it like a book. You can write in a little extra to make the story better, because the point is not the truth of the story. The point is actually the message of the story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and I think,
yeah, it makes sense. And also I think I mean, you said a very good point. Copy or look how other people are doing and find your own style is also very important. That and obviously being able or being a good talker helps, but it's not. I don't think it's really necessary. I've seen many people who were like really introverts and have even social anxiety, and through their own capabilities of being really senior in that what they do, they actually evolved into very great storytellers, but also by first just modeling how are others doing it, and having the confidence that, hey, actually the stuff what I tell and I know is really something of worth. And this is just what you said before. You need to find kind of the point and how you want to bring across and add your own style. So
I think storytelling from the front, trying to tell a whole story and then write the end, is much more difficult. If you write the ending, you know where you want to go, and the path is a lot easier to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, you're now
also include dragons in the story. It's always a good thing.
Dragons are always good. People love dragons.
And drinking, lots of drinking. Yeah. So okay, now you guys are at Ignite. How is the evangelism like taking place there?
So for me here, I think all the product evangelists are here, and I think this week is a great week to grow your presence and be in front of a lot of people. For me this week, the evangelism is really about the community. Like, it's not about the product. There's a lot of people and the whole Microsoft machine that is pushing that whole dialogue, but for me, it's about the stories of the people. Who am I connecting with? What are they doing? What are the times we're having? And for me, this week's evangelism is, I'm trying to build the Flow fam. And so I'm showing off how much fun the Flow fam has.
Oh yeah.
Because then if people see that, they want to be part of that, right? And so then that brings people, and look, I'm not even talking about Flow, right? I'm just talking about the group of us that do Flow and what we do. And so it's just a different tactic. I don't need to talk about the product all the time. Some of the time you want to talk about the ancillary things around the product.
Yeah.
And so the community being one of them. And showing that off is a great way to get people excited and wondering, like, hey, how do I be part of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, showing how much fun you have is a very good story to tell.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people want to have fun as well, and they don't want to, as you said, they want to either look good because they're in the fam, or they don't want to look bad and not have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to be there as well, yeah. But also, so there are a lot of really good sessions by a lot of really good speakers. Um, One of the really good things is that there's so little boundaries here. So when you hear a good story and you want to know more, the people that are telling the story are available. You
Yeah.
can just talk to them later on. I think that's also super important for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now to the last point before I let you guys go again to have more fun during the day.
No, coffee.
Yes,
First
coffee.
coffee.
Yes.
Coffee and some ibuprofen. So what you shouldn't do as an evangelist? So what is really a no-go?
Oh. So I've made a couple mistakes as an evangelist.
Yeah.
The first one is well, how do I say it? I was too aggressive with someone who was aggressive with me. So as an
Okay.
evangelist, you have to be in control. You're a public face, and as a
Yeah.
public face, people are going to try and punch you, right? When you stick your face out, people want to punch it.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
and so, you got to make sure you maintain control. Like, don't always be the bigger person. And
Yeah.
and if you don't, it's going to hurt more, because as a public person, if you aren't the bigger human being in the situation and you talk shit to somebody, everybody sees it.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a small thing. It's not two people with 100 followers talking shit to each other, right? It's when I talk shit to someone, 7,000 people see it.
Yeah.
And so it's that's one. Definitely be the bigger man, be the bigger woman. That's my first and a big no-no. Don't copy. And if you are going to copy, give credit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not
Yeah.
wrong to do what other people are doing if it works. What's wrong is to do it and not give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
And so evangelists, if you're a good one, you're going to inherit things that you see working. You're going to do what other people do, but
Yeah.
the right thing to do is call out where you learned that thing. And so
Well,
I think,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, one can say plagiarism is the highest form of flattery, but as you say,
It's really
And
not.
I think it's funny that you say that, because on Twitter, I say this all the time, and it's really just to remind myself, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know if I actually believe that, but I'm going to keep telling myself that until I do.
can reprogram yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
you know,
imitation is okay. Plagiarism is not.
yeah, of course, but I mean, it happens all the time. I mean, innovation is done that you copy stuff and make it better, and just creating something new totally from scratch is super hard. It's really,
Yeah.
really, really difficult. So, I mean, copying stuff is happening all the time. But as you say, the very important thing that if you use content from someone else, then refer to that person. I mean, it's absolutely lame to kind of take some content from someone and put it out as your own.
Yeah, and even like I've had my one of my sessions ripped off. I did a session somewhere in the world, and then now there's a whole other group of people that have taken up that session type and are just doing it, right? And it's fine. Like it was a good idea, but like I would have loved to have been part of it. I would have loved to have like gotten credit or something.
Yeah.
But and so that's why I just remind myself, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. They're just trying to do what I do, which as an evangelist, that's actually my goal. I want them to do what I do. What is this?
Emergency, Amber Alert.
Oh, wow.
So we just got an Amber Alert.
The whole room just got an Amber Alert.
Okay, what does it mean?
Oh, in the United States, we have these things that come onto your phone if there's like a missing child or a criminal in the area. They text everybody to look for the car or look for the person, and you get this crazy sound.
Hey, probably they found your friend from last night.
Oh, my friend! They found the drunk gator.
Yeah. They found him.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you John, you do you create content on many platforms. I know that you have a very successful YouTube channel as well. I mean, what's your kind of tip to grow your reach and your audience? So just maybe as a last tip.
Consistency is a big thing. I think that
Yeah.
what I do well is I do something every single week. I have built a schedule on YouTube specifically, like where 2 videos come out every week, Monday and Tuesday, and you can just count on that every single week. And so consistency is a big one.
Yeah.
But I think even more important, I will point to this. I think that the biggest success in my own growth, I believe, is me just being me.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to just be me. And if I ruffle a few feathers, I'm fine with that, because like I said it on Twitter earlier today, you're not for everyone. I'm not for everyone, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And to try and be for everyone means that you don't actually get to be you, because you're trying so hard to please everyone all the time, and nobody can be themselves when they're trying to please everyone all the time.
Absolutely.
So my biggest thing, I think, why I do so well is because I'm just me, and people respect that, and they want that. They wish that they
authentic.
could. Yeah, they wish they could remove those barriers from their own life and say half the things that I say, or do half the things that I do, right? But they're afraid. Why? Because it comes back to the beginning of the talk. They don't want to look bad. They want to look good. And they're afraid that if they're real and they're themselves, they won't look good. And so my advice to everyone, if you're trying to be an evangelist, if you want to go bigger, just be you. You're not for everyone. The audience that needs to find you will find you if you're just you.
Yeah. Speak to your tribe.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, for those viewers who don't know John's YouTube channel, check it out, John Levesque. It's awesome. So cool videos around community in Microsoft, and also awesome hiking videos and drone videos and content around nature. Yeah. So hey, thanks a lot, guys. This was very interesting.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for getting us out of bed this morning.
Yeah. So the early bird seizes the day.
Yes.
Gets the worm?
Yes, something like that. All right, man. See you soon.
Take care.
Always
have
a
fun.
pleasure.
And stay safe. Cheers.
Yo.